Under Tablets, the podcast.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Under the Bridge, the podcast. Thanks for joining us for another episode. My name is Nelson Latif. I have here with me today the brain behind ROVÜ, Garrick. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good, man. Good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Let's dive straight into it, right? For someone hearing about ROVÜ for the first time, what is ROVÜ?
I get this asked a lot, and every single time I have a hard time answering it, to be quite honest. What we are is a collective, more or less, of like-minded people and artists who want to grow our craft, essentially. We specialize in a few different niche markets per se, but typically we focus on like development, so like space development, where that be interior design. We used to do renovations in the past. We're trying to stir away from that and focus more on the art. But, we focus on the development aspect, public art, murals, sculpture, any sort of form of installation art where we can learn and grow and express ourselves. Focus on those types of projects. Placemaking in itself, so that kind of coincides with development and the public arts, to build one-off designs for clients to have a badass space, man. That's like a big focus.
I like the badass space.
Yeah.
Short and sweet. I like that name, ROVÜ. Right? Yeah. Who came up with it? What's the meaning behind the name ROVÜ?
Man, there is there's like not much. Okay, so ROVÜ's been around, like brought to market for just over 2 years, give or take. It's been like a brainchild of mine for another like 5 years before. Oh, sorry.
No, they're doing it.
Okay. Another like 5 years before that, 2 years of like actual conceptualization, building it to bring to market. But in that time frame, I didn't have a name. I didn't know what I was going to call it, but I wanted it to be something short, sweet, unique, and maybe a little difficult to say, have a bit of a European flow to it. But ultimately, man, like Wu-Tang, like I was looking to,
I like
protect your neck. But it was, I want something with Wu in it, man. It augurs to that, man.
Wow, that's interesting. I actually like that ROVÜ. That's dope. I didn't know. I'm actually glad I asked that question.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
One thing that strikes me on your website, I was browsing through your website the other time, and it says ROVÜ creates and curates spaces that inspire. And that's something that, I could connect to, like, right? Can you tell me more about that, spaces that inspire?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My goal, like when conceptualizing any type of installation in a space, is how people are going to react to it. Like when they walk through the entry door, what's the first thing they're going to see, what they're going to be drawn to, and how they're going to move through the space as well. So like taking and keeping in mind, aspects of feng shui, right? So I want to make people smile. Like I want to make people laugh, and I want to make people be like, damn, I never thought of that, or this is dope. You could also do something like this. Like I want them to give that feedback to me on how they would spin it themselves as well too, right? But essentially it starts with a smile. Like we want to bring joy to people. And so when they see whatever the space is, it's, damn, that is dope. This makes me happy. How can I then relate to it? And then how can we grow off of that? So even though we've evolved our own concept from the client and brought that to fruition, it's how can that design be static but keep growing in perception? If that kind of makes sense.
It makes sense perfectly, because I've been to your studio, right? And I can say it's like you guys can see into the future already. You know what I mean? But my question is, what are you and your team most excited about in the near future as relates to your work and public art in Lethbridge?
As far as immediate projects, it would be Legend Productions. Yeah, we've been working on their space for quite some time.
Oh, nice. Shout out to Steve.
Shout out to Steve, man. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we've been working on his space, and like he is the perfect testament to allowing us to just be creative. Like he understands that we are artists, and that whoever gets brought in to work on his space is an artist, and they have their own particular style, vision in itself. Whereas when you have somewhat of constraints on a project, you're limited, even though it is a freedom of creation expression, and you're still quite limited. So him immediately was like, you guys can do this and that. And then once we got into the painting for the murals, it evolved into, let's do this over here. Let's do this over here. Let's do this like crazy epoxy floor. Thankfully I have the construction skill set behind me to be able to pull off confidently the finishes on like wild one-off flooring like this. And then we got Brendan Brown and Jack Cole, who are in their paintings well too. They have their own expertise and style. So like immediate projects, Steven for sure, that's May 15th. I think he's gonna have the grand opening.
Oh, open the studio or
the whole gallery. Yeah, so sorry, he's gonna have to have his office in there, and an art gallery in the front entryway. So he's bringing in artists and paintings like canvases from Africa.
Wow.
And he's gonna sell them there. Yeah,
that is so cool. Like especially in Lethbridge. I was gonna ask you, right? If you think Lethbridge is an ideal place for an artist to learn and to grow, also to incorporate the work with the community, like a client as Legends Production, for instance. But clearly that is going with you, right? For upcoming artists as such, will you say they also fall in line in the same direction, or it's just very selective?
Yeah, it depends on who they want to become, like if that makes sense. Like they have their art form, whether it's if you're an oil canvas painter, that's what you like to do, that's your specialty. You can still evolve those skill sets into murals, or painting some object that was built by another artist in a collaborative effort. As far as what we're doing is I just started painting. Like I have no formal training. I didn't go to school or anything like that. I just friggin' did it, man. I worked enough hard jobs that made me realize I don't want to be this type of person. I don't want to do this. And I just said, at the end of the day, as I'm like being a gremlin painting in my garage, building weird things, like too shy to bring myself to the world, or not confident enough. And then it just got to the point where I was like, man, screw this. Like Lethbridge needs a business like this to carve a path for other artists. Absolutely. Yeah. And by taking these risks that are educated, that I've learned throughout prior construction niche businesses that I had, allowed me to maneuver myself in the market a bit better and then sell myself, even though there's a ton to learn when you sell art, especially in Southern Alberta. If I didn't have that background or experience, I surely would not be confident enough, even if I had the skill set to be if I was an amazing artist, if I didn't have that sales experience behind me and the door closed in my face a million times, I would just burn out and not keep going. But even though that stuff happens now, it doesn't matter. It's fuel to the fire.
Exactly.
Very sure.
You said now like that brings out the confidence in you, and to face the world in such a way and stuff. I want to know, do you guys have like a upcoming projects or workshop that involves the people in the community, whether it's for the kids or adults, to come and learn one or two things from you? Because every time I go to your studio, I feel like it's Lethbridge or the world at large need to see your work.
Yeah, definitely. We need to open up our studio. I'm so particular and quite OCD with how I'm portrayed as well. And so like I want my space to be, our space to be a clear reflection of who we are, even though it is like wild and like every time people walk in there, they're like, what, this exists here? I want to go even better and like bigger and just have that shock value there to show that it doesn't matter where you are. You can do whatever you want and be who you want to be.
Good, great things from a small place.
100%, 100%. But as far as community, like workshops, Brandon Brown, he's going to be leading a painting class at Casa.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like outdoor.
It'll be outdoor because of the fumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I believe it's 12 to 17-year-olds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then we just got approved for an adult drop-in class.
Oh, cool.
I think.
Wow. I'm glad I asked that question again. Hopefully people that wants to, they will get this message and get in contact with you guys and be involved. Which also brought me to, your involvement with the community. When I found out that you guys were honored with an award at Lethbridge College, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that? What was it about? What was the award for?
Yeah. I went to Lethbridge College, like 10 years ago, not to date myself. I know I'm crazy, but I went to I took the business administration program, majored in marketing. So the award I won is called Rising Star. They have, an honoring excellence banquet that offers 4 other awards to different community members who are alumni of the college that excel in community, I guess you could say. Like, I don't want to sound too big or anything like that,
but I must say, no, it's it's a big deal. It's a big deal, and that is such a great initiative from the college, really, because we need institutions like that to recognize people like you that are doing great things in the city and stuff. My next question was to you is due to lack of support or ability to grow and to learn in the city, which I've spoken to a lot of artists, that's some of the things they touch up. Do you know of any artists, right? You don't have to mention names, that perhaps have left the city because of lack of support, room for growth, or is it something you have yourself thought about in the past? The frustration that goes, you don't have to mention name again. So yeah, just touch on that, please.
Yeah, definitely know quite a few people who have left the city. Well, and that's like, in my eyes, why ROVÜ is so important and why we need that community support so that we keep thriving here, is that these artists, that are produced from the Lethbridge College or the university, or just dudes and women like me who are just in their house doing their own thing, there's not much support other than the institutions that are already here, like the nonprofits that are here. Mm-hmm. But like, what do you like? Are you just going to show your work at a gallery and then that's it? So who's paying for the canvases? Who's, covering the time? All that stuff is valuable. Like, time and that focus of someone is the most valuable thing that people have to offer in life. Without any type of business that is willing to push and create opportunity, should create some sort of rising to the top effect where other people and other artists want to
emulate.
Do their thing. And like, I've had people reach out to me saying, hey, is there room in budget for this? Like, I don't want to be, serving drinks at Starbucks anymore or something like that. You know what I mean? And it's so relatable across the board because there's fear with being an artist in society. And there's all these weird like associations with starving artists, the broke art, and an artist has to be broke in society's eyes, which I could see is this complete BS in my eyes. Like, if someone has a skill and the passion, to put themselves out there, like, man, just give them some time at least, and then if you want to buy their stuff, then buy their stuff.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, like, we bat no eyes at buying stuff from Walmart or all these big corporate entities that, man, they don't do whatever to support us. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a weird thing that we live in. So like we're trying to go against the grain and show people like this is very hard to do. Like I work and work and work and work, but it's starting to
make sense.
Make sense.
It makes sense when CBC.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm gonna ask you about the headset, right?
Right.
By the way, is there a name for it? It's just called a headset.
Headset.
You can make up with one now.
Yeah, I don't know. Headset number one. I don't know. The stress and
yeah. But how did you guys come about it? Did CBC request something in the shape of headset specifically, or did you guys just come up with the concept on your own? How did that happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I got referred by Michael from, Colbank's Creative. He referred us to.
Oh, Michael, I know Michael.
You know Mike. Yeah,
Michael. Shout out Michael.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna have him on the show sometimes. Definitely, absolutely.
Sure.
He's like the OG.
Yeah, man.
Mentor. A lot of youth kids in the city needs to find a way to get a hold of him and just get his brain.
Yeah.
He's like it has encyclopedia.
Yeah, he's ahead of the curve, but that's like a lifetime of.
Shout out Michael.
It's awesome.
It's such a small city, right? Even when you start speaking to people, then you realize their work is so intertwined, and everyone is there's no reason why people shouldn't be working together. And so I mean, that's interesting. Sorry, please carry on.
Yeah, for sure. So he referred us to a CBC representative. She called me and said, is this something that you can do first off? And I was like, hell yeah. Like I'm totally willing. This is what we want to be as a business, producing this type of work. And so we went back and forth with like the head office, and then they, eventually sent over a photo from Facebook of a headset that they have in Toronto, and some very rough blueprints that didn't have all the information. It was just plywood and like a few dimensions. So they just said, hey, can you make it look like this? And I mean, it's tough because when you want to create somewhat of a replica of something that's built in a factory, that's like perfect precision, plastics have been molded and sculpted. We don't have that yet, the abilities. And my window to build that was very short, as well, 3 weeks to build that thing. Wow. Yeah. So it was like me living in the studio, getting a few other people to give me a hand every once in a while. I'm super thankful for that. But yeah, so it was just a contract through them, and it slowly came into fruition. As I got into it, I was like, oh, we should just like paint this side of it, or like do this, or make it look more modern.
And the speakers in there and stuff.
Yeah. They want it to be functional. So there's 2 8-inch Yamahas in there that are connected to a receiver. So it bumps.
It bumps. I attended the event, the opening of the CPC Leopard, right? And I was like, I told them, take a picture, but I've got to take a picture in this,
Yeah.
That was cool. We recently had an event, Destination Leopard, right? And shout out to you guys for being part of it. The idea behind that event was to use the power of public art to effect change and make people fall in love with the city, right? I've always wanted to ask you, as an artist, do you feel the same way about public art, or do you have a different interpretation? So,
yeah, I tend to think quite deep. Like I view it as like, we have, I don't know, not to sound too weird here, but we have all these labels and all these names for different things. I then personally, I just want to change people's perceptions. And I think the quickest way to do that is through public art. And the most impactful way is through public art. We live in such a world of monotone grays and, all these hard, raw building materials. But, if you have the opportunity to put a big pink sculpture in it, people are going to stop and look and be like, wow, what the heck is that thing, and read into it a bit more, maybe look into the artist who built it or the fabricator or the installation team who installed it. That's like, I view it as public art, and I know it's called public art, but I view it as like, let's change people's minds, which in turn will just evolve the culture and enhance the culture.
It's like I know one of your main objectives is to push the boundary of public art. Basically.
Yeah.
It's like, can you describe one of your favorite public art projects you've installed or designed in the city? What was the concept behind it, and how has it impacted the community or specific area?
Definitely. Most impactful piece that I've been involved with was Brandon Brown's mural, like giving him a hand with that at the Nectar building. That was ran through the pilot project for the city mural thing that they want to do throughout the city. So that, like, that's located, anyone from Lethbridge here knows a Penny Coffee House in the Nectar building downtown. So there's a women's boutique on the corner that's beside like an eyeglass, sunglasses spot. When we were out there painting it, one of the ladies who worked there was outside for a cigarette, hearing the loud music and commotion. She's like, "What's going on back there?" Excuse me. And, she saw us painting, and kind of just kept an eye on it. And was visiting us as time went. And when it was finished, she mentioned that, before she wouldn't go back out there and hang out there, have cigarettes, or have the other employees go back there, because they were scared of the transient folk back there, people using drugs or, just loitering or whatever. They just felt unsafe. After that mural was installed, things kind of changed. So more people hear about, there's this dope mural down there, let's go check it out, and then
let's take pictures.
Let's say like wedding photography, like wedding photo stuff done in front of that. There's like a wicked motorcycle build that was shot in front of that. So like, not only is it a badass backdrop for about anything graffiti, just period, the more people sort of migrate to these spots that have been painted, or anywhere where art has been installed, 2 becomes 5, 5 becomes 8, 8 becomes 10, so on and so forth. And then you'll just get more people just using that back alley as a proper walkway, pushing away sort of the bad things that are going on. And then that creates a safer environment for everybody. And she was like very, she made it very apparent to us that was a huge effect in her safety and the people in the store safety as well. And then before you know it, another mural
was
by AJ Loudon, from Edmonton, man. He threw up one, and then like Jack has one that's down there as well too. So if we could turn that whole alley into just a bunch of wicked art, that there would be no issues down there. Like, yes, people might throw up a tag if like some drunk dude with a pen might just write "I heart butts" or something like that. It's just some silly stuff.
It's part of the house.
It's either art or it's like vandalism. But it's like it's obvious that it has an impact on the feeling of safety in community, and it is people. I just don't know really what else to say. Like it.
No, it absolutely, definitely impacted people. And because just going back to the Destination Lethbridge event, right?
Mm-hmm.
During our Q&A session, I don't know if you remember, someone asked why most of the art installations in Lethbridge are installed centuries ago. But I feel like, I think artists are doing new things or great things, whatnot. But let's just say, why do you think young artists in Lethbridge aren't building new things? Or are they doing the work and people are not aware because of accessibility, or its irrelevance to people, or it's simply because of lack of funding and it just,
all the above. I think, honestly, like that was such a good observation by that lady who asked that question, because like it is like it's every, like, there is if you're just talking about city funding, there is a budget. There is a governing body who will will pick what gets installed where for how much money. Um, what that body consists of, is it artists? Is it, I don't fully know. So, but that's where I kind of have a trouble with things. But there is funds there. But those funds are government funds. So they create like what's called a tender, and then that tender gets open for bidding, and a call will be placed out to whoever sees it online. Essentially, like it could be throughout North America. Like in some of the projects I bid on, like you see dudes from like California, I see like Utah and stuff, so it's obviously a North American thing. One thing that I truly believe Lethbridge needs to change is putting locals first.
Yes.
So in Ontario, they have mandates for public art. So anytime you build a new building, or big construction happens, X amount has to go to public art.
Wow, that's a good initiative.
Yeah, this overall civic design of the space, and give artists opportunity as well. There is nothing like that in Alberta. But if we don't even in the open calls put locals will be considered first, like everywhere else does in the country, what sort of incentive is there to be an artist, even if you're not even going to get considered first? And like it should say that in the application, and I do hope they change that in the future, because it is quite discerning. Like, I've had terrible bids on projects when I was first starting out that made probably no sense to these people, but the fact is we're doing it, and we haven't given up on it. So hopefully we start to get a little more opportunity rolling in, because we spread that through our community by engaging other local artists as a collaborative effort. ROVÜ just holds the umbrella for everybody, but we try to bring in as many people as the opportunity presents itself. So with these projects as well, like it's very important for people to know that these projects aren't just handled by one person. There may be a designer, just like an architect will design a house, but there will also be an engineer to make sure everything's structurally sound. For it's very very the same as any other construction. There's avenues and different channels that
we need to start looking at this from a holistic view.
Yeah, exactly. So even though the artist is so and so from wherever, there's 20 other hands that have touched that project, and the installation, the concrete foundation footings being poured to support the artwork. All those people need to get they need to get some luck too, man, because these are unique one-off projects that take a certain skill set to bring forth into the world. But also like so that's kind of how like the government funded stuff goes. Like like within city budgets, there are that kind of it comes into play. I believe CASA has their own sort of funding that they would pull from, but that'd be government money as well too. So like, we don't really we have more success through the private projects than we do government stuff, because well, actually, I don't know why. Because some of the bids that we do, man, is like, you talk about technology and wanting to push the boundaries. Like we're pitching like AR capabilities. So like integrating phones with mural or installation art, so that's the art moves with the phone. It will pop up, and it will tell you where the artist is from, and literally your imagination is your own limitation. And so
please say that again.
Your imagination is your own limitation. So the technology avenue that we're going down is just the proper step in the evolution, while not losing the maker's mark of things. We'll use the tech to amplify ourselves. We're not going to use the tech to just make new stuff. You know what I mean?
Wow, what you said was so profound that I missed a big chance if I don't ask you this right. What's your guiding principles? You would like to share with us? Because
man, honestly, it's like self exploration and self-awareness has always been my main focus in life, and the ability to adapt. So I don't have like, I have my beliefs and morals, but I tend to look on how can I evolve myself rather than pinpointing little things.
Or let me put it this way. But I sort of get what your guiding principles are, because for me that is that was key what you just said earlier. That's why I had to ask you, what's your guiding principles? You know, and I was out of the So you know, a touch up follow up to that would be what advice would you give young artists or designers here in Lethbridge interested in creating public art, and with all these hassles and puzzles and all this stuff that might, you know, discourage you and stuff, to keep going and not give up, and, you know.
Believe in yourself, first off, and never turn down opportunity, you know. But going back into the evolution of oneself, like, just, if that's what your focus on is, to just evolve, get better, in due time, opportunity is going to come, and you're going to be prepared for it. That's the biggest thing, is that you can be whatever, have whatever degree, but if you're not practicing and honing your skills, you're going to get, you know, if an opportunity comes up, how can you handle that? You know what I mean? Like, it takes a lot of pressure to build something great, and these people should be putting pressure on themselves to get better and not turn down any opportunity. And if the opportunity isn't there, they create the opportunity.
I agree.
So go to a business or a friend that you know who owns a business, or just literally anybody. Like, write down a list of business owners, your tight homies, and be like, hey, I want to build a giant chair. Can I build it in your front lawn? Or can I just temporarily set it up here? Or I have a canvas. Can I put it here for a time being, build some hype around it through social media, and then we can do like a rotational thing? You know what I mean? Like, there's no risk for the business owner or the homeowner in that. Like, it's just there. And if anything, it will just attract people and help reflect you in a positive way
as well,
and break people. Yeah, man.
That's and again, it goes back to what you said earlier when you said you can do great things from a small place. I totally agree with that. Do you have like I know you are obviously. How can people reach you guys on your social media? Do you mind sharing your?
Yeah, social media is just underscore ROVÜ, ROVU underscore ROVÜ.ca, and that's about it. We don't really
very basic.
We don't tread in the waters of Facebook. I don't really like Facebook, Twitter. You know, we're coming around to all this other stuff. I never wanted to be like big into social media, but now I have to.
You have to.
And so it's like, it is what it is. Everything's kind of coming along in that aspect. But yeah, just like drop us a line on the website or Instagram, and then we'll just figure it out.
Absolutely. Good stuff. And that, and for me, lastly, what's your favorite things to do in Lethbridge? Food, places to go. Favorite things to do in Lethbridge.
I'm such a studio junkie, man. I like never leave. No, honestly, like, I love being in the coulees. I love taking the dog for a walk in the coulees and the river bottom, taking my son down there. I like enjoying outside. Love hitting up patios downtown, and, you know, to see the revitalization of downtown. But yeah, when a young kid, man, we go to parks, like a lot of parks. The splash pad on the north side's pretty dope, and Black Wolf Legacy area. But yeah, like, for the limited time that I have, it's like very family focused. Yeah.
Absolutely. Family is everything. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Jared. We really appreciate you, and good luck with everything.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Massive thanks to every single one of you for tuning in once again. Be on the lookout for our next episode. Peace.